So in unit 4, okay, the governance, organs of governance we are discussing, right? So in the previous lecture, I discussed about the parliament, composition in the parliament like Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, the strength in the Lok Sabha, the strength in the Rajya Sabha, right? So parliament is nothing but a president, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, right? So now here I am going to explain about the president, okay? Now he is the head of the state actually, okay? President is the head of the state, head of the state. Here don't think that state means you can say Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, head of the government you can say, okay? Head of the government or head of the state you can say, okay na? Head of the total country, whole country you can say. Now first of all, I will discuss the qualification for election as a president. So to become a president, first of all qualifications we will see, right? A person to be eligible for election as a president should fulfill the following qualifications. 1. He should be a citizen of India. Okay, he should be a citizen of India. He should have completed 35 years of age. So he should have completed 35 years of age. He should be qualified for election as a member of Lok Sabha. So to become a member of Lok Sabha, whatever the qualifications required, so those qualifications must be satisfied to elect as a president. Okay na? He should be qualified for election as a member of Lok Sabha. Okay, MP, we can say member of parliament. Now, he should not hold any public office or office of profit under central, state and local government. So, should not hold any office, public office or office of profit. So, these are the qualifications. The person, if he qualify all these things, is eligible to elect as a president. Now, we will see the president elections, elections of president. See, president elections are not like normal elections, okay na? They are different, we will see that. So, the president elections are also conducted by the Election Commission of India. So, remember, elections are conducted and overseen by Election Commission of India. Who will take care of these elections for the president? Election Commission of India. Now, see here, the president is elected not directly by people of India, but members of electoral college. Okay, the president is elected not directly by the people of India, but by members of electoral college. That is the first one. You can see what are the electoral college. Electoral college includes what? Okay, so remember, the president is not directly elected by the people, but the president is elected by the people representatives. Okay, now the electoral college includes what? The elected members of both houses of the parliament. Okay, the elected members of both houses of parliament means MPs, member of parliaments from Lok Sabha and from Rajya Sabha. Okay, Lok Sabha MPs and Rajya Sabha members both are the eligible to cast vote to elect the president. Then elected members of legislative assemblies of the state. Okay, elected members of legislative assemblies of all the states, MLAs. Okay na, MLAs. Elected members of legislative assemblies of states, MLAs. Then third one, elected members of the union territories of Delhi and Puducherry. Okay, elected members of union territories also included in this election or otherwise electoral college. So, we can say simple way, President is not directly elected by the people, but president is elected by the people's representative. People's representatives are what? The members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, then member of legislative assemblies, MLAs of all the states and union territories. All the states and union territories. Now, you can see the procedure of election of president. Now, the procedure actually done in two steps. One is the nomination stage, second is proposers and seconders. Proposers and seconders. Now, we will see. See, I think the president elections during this time, actually Draupadi Murmu and S1 Simha, between these two was gone. The president elections are done. Now, you can see how these elections are going to be evaluated. Okay, what is the value of each vote and how it is calculated? First of all, don't think that like in general elections, one person cast one vote, that value equal to 1. But here it is different. Okay, because here the people are not electing, people representatives are electing. Right. So, the value of each vote is different. We will see that. Okay, now see what is the value of each vote and how it is calculated, we will see. Okay. A vote cast by each MP or MLA is not calculated as one vote. Okay. A vote cast by each MP or MLA is not calculated as one vote. The fixed value of each vote by an MP of the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha is 700. Okay. The fixed value, so that means if one MP cast vote, that value is 700. That value is 700. The fixed value of each vote by an MP of Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha is 700. Okay. Meanwhile, the value of the vote value of each MLA is different from state to state based on the calculation that factors in its population. Actually, each state has a different population. In each state, in each constituents, population is different. That's why value of vote will change. That's why for MLA member, the vote value is different, but for MP, vote value is fixed, that is 700. Right. Now, see here, as per the Constitution, 84th Amendment Act 2001, okay, currently the population of states is taken from the figure of 1971 census. So, remember, we are considering the population from 1971 census. Based on that, we are calculating the value of vote of each MLA. This is valid up to 2026. Okay, after completion of the census, again new census from 2026 they will take another one. So, remember, as per the Constitution, 84th Amendment Act 2021, we are considering the population from 1971 census. Okay, na? Now, the value of each MLA's vote is determined by, okay, is determined by dividing the population of the state by the number of people, number of MLAs, okay, by the number of MLAs in its legislative assembly, and the quotient achieved is further divided by 1000. That means you can take value of vote, you can take total population divided by number of MLAs in the state, into 1 by 100, 1 by 1000 we are considering. So, for that, that's why for each state the total population is different, number of MLAs different. That's why value of vote will change for each state. Do you know the highest value of vote is for Uttar Pradesh because it has more population? See, Uttar Pradesh, for instance, the highest vote value for Uttar Pradesh, okay, its value is 208. Its value is 208. The value of one MLA's vote in the Maharashtra is 175, while the Arunachal Pradesh is just only 8. Now you can see in this map, you can see value of vote for each state is given. Kerala 152, Karnataka 131, Maharashtra 175, Rajasthan 129, like that different states given. So vote value for each state is different. That depends on what? People's population. Now you can see this was published in Times of India. The President of India elected. Who elect the President of India? Member of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, member of state assemblies, legislature from Delhi and Puducherry, Union Territories of Delhi and Puducherry. How is President elected? Voting, okay, with a secret paper ballot system we are using. Remember, for President elections we are using a secret ballot paper. In 2017, the ballot papers were printed in two colors, one green color for MPs and pink color for MLAs. Green color for MPs and pink color for MLAs. Green color for MPs and pink color for MLAs. Can the president be impeached? Can the president be impeached means, is it president is removed or not possible to remove? We'll see. Yes, we can impeach the president, or simple language you can say we can remove the president, but there is a procedure here, we will see that. Now, according to Article 61 of the Constitution of India, the president can be removed from his office before the expiry of his term. Generally, the term of a president is 5 years. So, before reaching these 5 years, we can remove under the Article 61 on the grounds of violation of the Constitution. So, if he violate the Constitution, then we can easily remove, right? But in the Constitution, there is no clarity given what do you mean by violation of Constitution. See here, however, the Constitution does not define the meaning of the phrase violation of the Constitution. Okay, na? So the Constitution is not given any clarity. Now, the impeachment process can be started from any house of the Parliament. Remember, either it will start from the Rajya Sabha or it will start from the Lok Sabha. So, from any house it will start. The impeachment process will start from any house. Okay, now, but before going to start from that house particularly, okay, one notice should give, okay. In that notice, signed by at least a quarter of the members in the same house. Suppose if 90 members are there, that means 30 members should sign and then give notice to the president before going to start impeachment process. Okay, now see, the notice bearing the charges against the president must be signed by at least a quarter of the members of the house, right? The resolution to impeach the president must be passed by a special majority. Remember, a special majority means 2/3 of the members will support. 2/3 of the members. Suppose if it is 600 members are there, let us assume 600 members are there means 2/3 members will support to this. Like you can say approximately 400 members has to pass this resolution, then only the impeachment will start. Okay, now the resolution to impeach the president must be passed by a special majority, that is 2/3 in the originating house, either it may be Lok Sabha or it may be Rajya Sabha. 2/3 of the members must support to this resolution to impeach the president, right. Then after passing the bill, after passing the resolution in that particular house, it will move to the second house. The second house is the main interrogating house actually. See here, next it is sent to the other house for the consideration. The other house act as a investigating house. Okay, other house act as an investigating house. A select committee is formed to investigate the charges labeled against the president. So in the second house, a committee is going to be formed. So the committee will discuss what is the main reason for the impeachment of the president, like that. Then during the process, the President of India has the right to defend himself through an authorized counsel. So during this impeachment process, President also defend himself through an authorized counsel, like there may be a lawyer or attorney general will help to him. Okay, now see, during the process, the President of India has the right to defend himself through authorized counsel. He can choose to defend himself or appoint any person or a lawyer, or attorney general of India to do so. So finally, what I am saying, okay, the president can impeach. There is a possibility. We can remove the president, but there is a special majority is required to impeach the president of India. Right. Next, the term of president office, as you are familiar, the term of president office is 5 years. You can also remove before this reaching this 5 years through the impeachment process, right? Or otherwise, he may give his resignation letter to the vice president. See, the president holds office for a term of 5 years. Okay, president can hold office for a term of 5 years from the date on which he enters upon his office. However, he can resign from his office at any time by addressing resignation letter to the vice president. Resignation letter to the vice president. Then further, he can also be removed from the office before completion of his term by the process of impeachment. So, by the process of impeachment also, he can remove from the office. Right. So, the term of office generally 5 years. In case if you want to resign, then you should give resignation letter to the vice president. Vice president. Right. Now, the vacancy in president's office. So, how the vacancy is formed in the president's office, we will see. See, the vacancy in the president's office can occur in any of the following ways. See here, on the expiry of his tenure of 5 years. So, after completion of a tenure of 5 years, a vacancy is formed. Then new elections. Then by his resignation given to the vice president. So, once he gave resignation, then automatically the vacancy is formed. On his removal by the process of impeachment. So, impeachment process, after removing, through this impeachment process again vacancy is formed. By his death also there is a vacancy is formed. Otherwise, for example, when he become disqualified to hold office or when his elections declared void, in case during the election process if there is any void or illegal things happen, then also his post is going to be vacant, right. So, this is the basic information about the president, like the qualification to become a president, right, election process of the president, then impeachment process of the president, the term and vacancy in the president's office. Right. Now, next I am going to explain the powers of a president. We will see. See, the significance of the president's office, you can see the head of the state. As you know, I already said to you, the president is the head of the state. Remember, the president is the head of the state. and the first citizen of India. The president is the first citizen of India, head of the state and first citizen of India, and he is safeguarding the Constitution of India. Okay, so the main person or the first person to protect the Constitution of India, safeguarding the Constitution of India, the commander-in-chief of the Indian armed forces. So he was the head of all the armed forces, the commander-in-chief of all the Indian armed forces. Now we'll see different powers, right? The main responsibilities of the President of India. What are the main responsibilities? Ensuring functioning of the smooth of the government, So the government functions are there now, like passing bills, right? Some orders, some laws, right? Everything is under his name. It is going to be done. Okay. The president has the power to appoint and dismiss government officials, including prime minister. Who will appoint the prime minister? The president. Appoint and dismiss the government officials, including the prime minister, and to summon and prorogue sessions of the parliament. Okay, na? So parliament sessions also based on the president will. Actually, sometimes he can prorogue the session, sometimes he can summon the session, right? Upholding the constitution, right? The president is responsible for ensuring that the laws and actions of the government are in accordance with the Constitution of India. So based on the Constitution of India, each and every law and action should be taken by the government. So he will safeguard the government, he will safeguard the Constitution of India, right? Representing India, right? The president represents India at home and abroad and receive foreign diplomats and dignitaries. Okay, so he will represent, the president will represent the India. The president also has a role to play in legislative process. So in the legislative process also he has some work. We'll see all these things. Okay, so first of all, we'll see the executive powers and functions. So executive powers of the president we will see. See the first one, remember, he is the executive head of India. Remember, executive head. Who is the executive head? He is executive head. Whatever the laws and actions in the name taken by the government carried out in his name. See, remember, all actions taken by the government carried out in his name. Okay, now all the actions and laws taken by the government carried out in his name. He has the power to establish rules for authenticating official documents and instruments, as well as to streamline the administration government business and allocate tasks among the ministers. So but it will be done with the help of a prime minister and council of ministers. We will see that later. So we can say simple way, he will appoint council of ministers, he will allocate different works to the council of ministers to run the government in a smooth manner. Okay, whatever the action taken by the government is carried out in his name, the president name. Right, executive powers and functions. Executive powers and functions here, another one. He has the authority to appoint the prime minister and other ministers, as well as other key officials such as attorney general, comptroller and auditor general, and the state governors, etc. So he can appoint prime minister, council of ministers, attorney general, comptroller and auditor general, and state governors. He can also request information from the prime minister and other ministers. He can initiate investigations into the conditions of marginalized communities and promote cooperation between central and state. So he will promote the cooperation between central government and state government, because he will appoint the governors to the states. And additionally, he has the authority to appoint administrators for the union territories. See, for union territories, he will appoint lieutenant governors, okay, administrators. He has the power to declare certain areas as scheduled or tribal areas. So, he has the power to declare certain areas, okay, as a scheduled and tribal areas. These are the different executive powers of the president. Right. Now, the judicial powers of the president you can see here. The President of India has the power to appoint the Chief Justice and other judges. Remember, the President of India has the power to appoint the Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Court. Okay. He also has the ability to consult the Supreme Court for the advice on the legal or factual matters. So, if there is any conflict in the legal matters, he will consult the Supreme Court. Though the advice given is not binding on him. So, if in case Supreme Court judge gave some advice, then he is not compulsory to follow that. Okay. The president has the authority to grant clemency, including pardons, reprise and commutations to individuals convicted of offences and can suspend or reduce sentences. So, the president has a power for pardons, reprise, clemency. He can reduce the sentence and sometimes he can suspend the sentence also. Those who are suffering in jails, he will help them, right, by reducing the sentence actually, right. Otherwise, sometimes he will suspend the sentence, right. So, all these are judicial powers. Okay, now all these are judicial powers. Now, the legislative powers, if you see here, the president can summon and prorogue the parliament. This is the main one. The president can summon and prorogue the parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha on the advice of the Prime Minister. So, president can dissolve the Lok Sabha on the advice of the Prime Minister, and Council of Ministers. He also summons a joint sitting of both the houses of the parliament. So, sometimes joint sitting is required. So, he will call both the houses to sit at one place and decide and pass a bill, which is presided over by the Speaker of Lok Sabha. But he will not preside here. For joint sitting, the Speaker is going to be presided here. He addresses the Parliament at the commencement of the first session, after each general election and the first session of each year. Remember, after general election, first session he will address, at the same time first session in every year. He sends messages to the houses of the parliament, whether with respect to bill pending in the parliament or otherwise. So, if there is any bill pending in the parliament, he will send messages. He will try to try to send again the bill after some modifications like that. He will return the bills also. Okay, these are the legislative powers. He appoints any member of Lok Sabha presides over its proceedings when the office of both the speaker and deputy speaker fall vacant. So, if there is a absent in speaker and deputy speaker, he will decide one member of parliament to preside over the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, like Lok Sabha. He nominates 12 members of the Rajya Sabha from among the persons having special knowledge, right? 12 members of the Rajya Sabha, right? Special knowledge like in art, literature, social sciences, etc. He decides on questions to be disqualification of members, Parliament in consultation with the Election Commission of India. So, regarding disqualification, he will decide with the help of a Parliament and Election Commission of India. Another one, his prior recommendation or permission is needed to introduce certain bills like the money bill. This is important. So, to introduce a money bill, the president recommendation is required. So, to introduce a money bill in the parliament, definitely the president recommendation is required. He promulgate ordinances when the parliament is not in session. So sometimes if the parliament is not in session, some ordinances required, so I will pass these ordinances directly, right. So these are the legislative powers of the president, right. Now next I am going to discuss about the financial powers and functions. See, previously legislative powers of the president I discussed. Now financial powers we will see. As you know that money bill money bill can be introduced in the parliament only with his prior recommendation. Okay, money bill without his recommendation, the people of parliament can't introduce in the parliament. Okay, first from his prior recommendation we should take, then we should introduce in the parliament. He causes to be laid before the parliament the annual financial statement, that is nothing but union budget. So every year, okay, union budget is introduced in the parliament. For that, the main reason is the president. And no demands for a grant can be made except on his recommendations. So if you want to give, suppose the government want to give some grants to the people of India or outside the people of India, definitely his recommendation is required. He can make advances out of the contingency fund of India to meet any unforeseen expenditure. Suppose if there is any floods, right, then definitely if you want to distribute the fund, definitely his prior intimation and permission is required, right. So he can give that fund to the people of India from the contingency fund of India, right. Okay, now so he can make advances out of the contingency fund of India to meet any unforeseen expenditure. So here unforeseen expenditure is nothing but the expenditure due to the floods or any emergency situations. Next, he constitute a financial commission after every 5 years. See, for every 5 years, he constitute a financial commission. In the financial commission, a chairman, secretary and members will be there. And the main focus of the financial commission is to how the distribution of the revenues between the center and state, they will decide. So based on that, okay, he will inform to the council of ministers and president. So he will constitute a financial commission, finance commission. So these are the different financial powers and functions of the president. Now next one you can see diplomatic powers and functions. Okay, diplomatic powers and functions. The international treaties and agreements. International treaties and agreements are negotiated and concluded on the behalf of the president. However, they are subjected to the approval of the parliament, like prime minister and council of ministers. So he'll get the approval from the council of ministers and prime minister. Then he'll give treaties and agreements with the national and foreign countries, right? And he represent India in the international forums. He represent India in the international forums and affairs and send, receives diplomats like ambassadors and high commissioners. So he'll send the diplomats, ambassadors to the foreign countries. Again, he will receive from different foreign countries different ambassadors and high commissioners, right. So these are the diplomatic powers of the president. Okay, now finally the military powers, you can see the military powers. He is the supreme commander. Remember, he is the supreme commander of the defense forces of India. Okay, supreme commander of defense forces of India. He appoints the chiefs of army, navy and air force. Okay, so he is the chief commander, supreme commander of all the defense forces, and he will appoint chiefs to the army, navy and air force, right. He can declare a war or conclude a peace subjected to approval by the parliament. So he can declare a war or conclude a peace with respect to the parliament. Okay, now he can promulgate ordinances when parliament is not in session. So, if the parliament is not in session, if there is any emergency situation arises, then he will promulgate ordinances, right. These are the different military powers. At the same time, during the emergency situation, the main person, he will rule the country, will rule the government actually. In addition to the normal powers mentioned above, the extraordinary powers to the president, extraordinary powers of the president deal with three types of emergencies. So, national emergency, president's rule and financial emergency. In all these three cases, the president has some extra powers. He can decide anything. So, these are the powers of a president. Okay, now see here, listen carefully. Here from the first I will explain executive powers, okay, judicial powers, legislative powers, financial powers, diplomatic powers and military powers. Finally, extra powers, extraordinary powers during the emergency conditions, national emergency, president rule and financial emergency. Suppose for your exam, from this president topic, what type of questions they will ask, like you can take explain the impeachment procedure of a president. So, you should explain that, I already gave. Or what are the qualifications required to elect the president, or otherwise the powers of the president. This type of questions they will ask you for your exam. So, if they ask you the powers of the president, you no need to write everything. You can write at least for each power, like a judicial power 1, executive power 1, like you can take executive power. Executive power you can take, he can appoint the prime minister, council of ministers, comptroller and auditor general, state governors. One point you can write. Then judicial powers you can say he will appoint Chief Justice of India and other judges of Supreme Court and High Court. That is more than enough, right. And legislative powers you can take, the president can summon and prorogue the parliament and dissolve the Lok Sabha, right. You can write this one, right. And also you can nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha, right. You can also write this one, right. And money bill can be introduced with this prior recommendation in the financial powers. And also annual budget, union budget is introduced with the help of this, okay, president. Then finance commission will introduce. At the same time, diplomatic powers, international forums he will represent, right. And he is a supreme commander in all the defense systems like Air Force, Navy and Army, right. So, like that, if you give some 5-6 statements for these powers, that is more than enough for your exam.